Sheridan each year. Mate, great. Those are great nights, aren't they? Best nights of the year.
Yeah.
The Rothmans dinners, mate, absolutely terrific. I think I've missed one in 10 years. Did you know that Brothers were playing Redcliffe yesterday?
Yeah, I did actually.
You did?
Did we have a score last night?
Yeah.
Who won?
Redcliffe.
Why did they play them yesterday, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know, Slacky?
No, I wouldn't have a clue, mate.
Where are you, Tiles? I've got to find. Where are you, son? Oh, down there.
Here I am, mate. Yeah.
Right.
Get the mowing done, Tiles?
Yes,
mate,
mate.
you banished to the sidelines again, Tiles.
Yes, mate.
Hey? It's nice, comfortable up here, isn't it?
Oh, it's great, mate. You get a seat and everything.
Not that you got to use them much the last few places, right?
Where'd you go?
That's true.
Ipswich bloody twice, or well, once anyway.
How'd you find Ipswich, T?
Oh, it was certainly the toughest of
It's
the
tough
grounds.
up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're low and you're a long way from them.
You're tired from the drive.
Tired from the drive. I just stopped talking and Andrew rescued me.
Up your bum like a big chook.
I blew up the mower yesterday, Andrew, so I'll be asking for donations for the new ride-on.
No, what it's
yes,
beyond
Rod,
repair?
Andrew did bail you out, didn't he, mate?
Oh, that's Steve. Oh,
Well, I'll tell you what, he might be bailing me out here this afternoon. I don't know half these blokes in the South line. Mark Rockley, Jim Aitken, Michael McCabe.
Yeah, a couple of big names. And what about Pat Benatar on the wing? What's his name?
Pat Benatar.
Pat Benatar.
You shouldn't say things like that because you end up saying it. Out it goes to Pat. And Ian Irwin controls this afternoon's fixture, and it's going to be Northern Suburbs in possession. Well, Andrew, you've seen Norths, as we mentioned in our preview, and I suppose they do have everything going for them. And the other thing I've noticed too, even at the time I'm away, North seems to have the same side that they had when I left.
Yeah, they haven't had many injury worries. In fact, they've probably improved since you've gone, because Craig Groff here today, the Broncos discard, and he's playing at lock, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's been in reasonable form for the Broncos, so I'm sure he'll be a great asset to them today. Neil Wharton there, he's had a few problems, I guess, with an ankle injury. Missed last week, I believe, and they drew with Brothers 8-all, and they would have been disappointed with that because it cost them a premiership point and means they're now running third. Valley's having been beaten also, so Norths need these 2 points. If Valleys are beaten today, it'll put them up into second spot, and of course finishing 1 or 2 is going to be important when semi-finals come around.
So North's just outside the 22. Wharton calling things. He's with the football now. Samet gives it to Booth, playing in the centres today. Rod Tiley, I believe there's a ploy there if he wants to stiffen up the defence in the middle, does Oliphant with Booth.
Yeah, that's why Michael Booth's out there to combat Brett Johnston and Kenny Robertson, strong running south centres. And Brad Foster's just lacking a little bit in confidence at the moment, so that's why he's out on the wing. Interesting comment from Jeff Naylor. He believes Norths will revert to 6-tackle football following a skinny loss to Valleys and that draw with Brothers where they've been kicking early in the tackle count. So interesting comment from Jeff Naylor. By the way, both coaches, a lot of respect for one another here today.
Floyd Hill not being able to take it, coming off his shoulder and then over the dead ball line. So drop out. High ball to the halfway mark where Wharton takes it and gives it to Cleary. And he's 8 metres outside the 22. Samet, nice pass for Groff, almost at the quarter. Duncan calling for it, went the short side, then came back towards the defence. 20 metres out from the line. Now Reid, reversing play to Wharton, they're switching all over the place. And they didn't quite get it right, and unless someone makes a break, as Booth does, and that could be floated forward, I would think. It is. Ian Irwin's picked that up. So North's prepared to throw the ball around and prepared to throw all little dummies and mixing up the game in the early part of the match.
Yes, and did the right thing there, Booth. I think continuing the chain passing would have just pushed them out into touch. Obviously, the pass wasn't so flash when he got around to throwing it, but nice dummy and a breakthrough. So he's played everywhere this year. Fullback, lock, now in the centres.
So Minton giving it to McCabe. And the cover defence picks up Michael McCabe. 12 metres short of the halfway. Now Jennings. Brownlee a dummy half for Aitken. He's met the Stern defence and he's dropped the ball. The tacklers were Booth and McKenzie. So a good hit from Norths. Greg Oliphant will be happy with that sort of defence. So North's in possession. Now to Duncan, Gorf. Short pass going to Herman. Now Wharton. Well, there was a call as clean as you like from Ian Irwin. He said you're offside wing. That was referring, of course, to Brad Foster. It overrun Wharton before he'd kicked the football, but it didn't matter. Selman took it at fullback, so South have possession on their own quarter. And now they'll get out of their own quarter per the medium of about 3 backs offside. He's got McKenzie actually standing as a 5'8". He's pinged Booth and Kelso as well. So Brett Johnston to try and find touch. Finds it 8 metres short of the halfway. Now Minton over to Jennings, and he makes it to the halfway. Now this is Mark Rockley. Minton again, long pass for Aitken, and he's almost dropped the football in the tackle. Oh, Jennings found himself in the wrong spot. Just coming back to get in some sort of position, found himself with the football, or Brownlee I should say. Now it's with McCabe. Johnson with the kick through, and Cleary will have plenty of time to cover. Robertson waits for him with Floyd Hill, and they put the North fullback to ground just short of his own 22. Harvey. Evans a dummy half. Now for Reid. Kicks from Wharton. And Floyd Hill on his own 22. Starts to run it back. Gets away from Groff, but Michael Booth will follow him up from behind to put him down. Oh, Robinson, good run right over the halfway, and he's got the ball back to Brownlee. Plenty of cover from Norths with Cleary. Norths a bit 6s and 7s here. Rockley trying to find a gap. Can't do so. 18 metres out from the line. Now goes through Minton and Aitken. Trying to put on the power. Chris White a dummy half. And here's a gift, 2 points. No. Are they going to take the quick tap? Greg Minton, the captain, he's the one that makes the decisions. I think 2 points are sweet, Andrew.
Yes, I think you've got to take the 2 points at this stage, but good to see that at least they're awake to that option. Often I feel that the quick tap could be used a bit more and teams seem reluctant to do it. Minton obviously has it in his head, but with that seemingly a gift and so early in the match, I think the 2 points have got to be taken. Some quite nice attack from South there, started by Ken Robinson, the centre, of course, a former Ipswich player, and he's been quite impressive so far. The North defence a little bit eager. That's the second time they've been penalised for offside, and Michael Booth, their captain, obviously not delighted with that lack of discipline, which is bound to cost them a couple right now.
Rod Tiley, conditions a bit hot down there.
Yes, it is a rather warm afternoon compared to what we've been having. A little bit of a breeze around to cool things down, so it's not uncomfortable conditions for football. But I think as the afternoon goes on, kicking conditions may get tricky.
Nothing tricky about that. Straight through, and Souths lead by 2 points to 0. Well, if Crameri's warming up on the sideline, Mr. T, who's injured out there? Is it Foster? He's come straight off.
Well, I don't think he's injured. It's Foster coming out. Now, that's obviously a ploy from Oliphant to sit Cramery on the bench just to see how that leg warmed up. And the whole time he's been on that bench, he's been up and down the sideline in the tracksuit, warming up. Now, Foster's off and Cramery on. So, a ploy from Oliphant.
I can't quite work that out, really. I mean, it might be a ploy, but I wonder how Foster feels.
Obviously disappointed, but Cramery's been playing some pretty good football while you've been away, Alan, and has been very much a key in terms of North's attack.
So there's Booth. Back it goes to Groff and Duncan. Cleary injecting himself in the play. Harvey pushes Banai out of the way. Better stuff from North. Reid on the 22. Now goes through Wharton and Samet to Booth. Tried to get a pass around the corner. Hung on to it. Chose the right option. Duncan giving it to Groff. Back inside to Reid. On the final tackle. Wharton to test Mick Selman out again. The grubber kicks there. Floyd Hill will be there first. But the ball beats him over the dead ball line, so a tap restart from the quarter.
It's a pretty good variation from North so far in the match. An up and under and a grubber. I think sometimes teams tend to use the same type of kick too often. Wharton already's tried a few things on Selman. A couple of the kicks haven't been executed all that well, and when they have, Selman's come up trumps, but at least we're seeing some variety.
Just having a look at Wharton and back play, he's limping. Did he have a bad ankle coming into this match, Andrew?
I heard his ankle, I reckon, about 3 weeks ago. Played the following week and looked as if it wasn't 100%, then had the next week off. And as you say, today doesn't exactly look as if he's on all 8 cylinders. What
do you think, Rod, having a look at him?
Well, they certainly put a lot of strapping in it, or on the ankle in the dressing room, so it's obviously a problem, but he's got to go the 80 minutes for Norths today.
Here's Robertson. Back it goes to Selman. So South just inside North territory. They're in front of the scoreboard 2-0. Minton for touch. That's not bad, or is it too big? It's a fraction long. He's gone from an old gold chocolate to a boiled lolly very quickly with the kick. So Reid will play it to Evans, and then it goes to Herman. Duncan's calling for work, but the cutout passes for Booth. Reid's on the short side, but the cutout passes for Mackenzie. Wharton, Samet, running the football, 10 metres inside South territory. Wharton chips into space. and that'll be a penalty for tripping. And I'll tell you what, Wharton would have gathered that ball and would have only had the full-back to beat. It was a right kick at the right time. There it is there, interfered with. I reckon he'd have been first to that ball. But anyway, the penalty goes to Norths. And Guy Harvey, well, his consistency with the boot, you'd want to be pretty safe to back him over from this distance to square the ledger at 2 points apiece. Greg Minton kicked a goal, a penalty goal in the 6th minute. And we're in the 15th minute with Guy Harvey. Well, Harvey lines up the kick. Norths are in a bit of a huddle, getting a few instructions from the managers and trainers. And Danny Cramry with that right knee very heavily strapped. Not much breeze about on what is quite a warm day. Just the flags just fluttering just a fraction. And the sunglasses certainly to the fore this afternoon under bright sunny skies here at Davies. He's missed it. Well, that's a bad miss. Right in front, only 25 metres out. So South still lead by 2 points to nil. Michael Booth marshals the troops. A drop kick out from Selman. Down to Cleary. And Souths go up in a straight line of defence.
By the way, it wasn't a ploy from Oliphant with Foster coming off and Cramry on. Brad Foster's pulled a quadricep muscle in the right leg. That's his problem.
Well, the question is, if Cramry's been forced to go on, how fit is he?
Well, Oliphant's confident that the knee can hold off. Obviously, it's heavily strapped, but he had him warming up for at least 3 or 4 minutes, and apparently it held up pretty well.
All right, we'll see what happens to Danny Cramry when the acid test is put on him to tackle or be tackled. And we might find out shortly. Michael Booth trying to find a gap. He's found Samet. Samet inside to Wharton, and it's come off and gone into the hands of Greg Minton. North finding gaps. Brett Johnston taking it up like a front rower. Chris White. Ian McKenzie having a little bit of a half-tip White and McKenzie. So Aikens tackled. 15 metres short of the halfway. Floyd Hill. And there's no one running onto the ball outside. Scott Jennings is limping. His ankle looks like it's a bit ordinary. Now Minton kicks and was hit simultaneously, and that too went out on the full. And Minton getting up very slowly because Gordon Reid really hit him. Here's Minton. You'll see Gordon Reid get him simultaneously there. So North's in possession. Michael Booth. Cleary can't find a way through. Mark Rockley the tackler. Kelso. Duncan. Groff.
Phil Tarditi on for Scott Jennings in Souths. Tarditi in 15.
So back to Sam. He's 10 metres short of the 22.
A tackle completed by Jim Aitken. He and his fellow second rower Mark Rockley have done a fair bit of work for South so far.
Jennings has got a knee problem. Right knee.
And once again, North's promising movement breaking down outside the South's quarter. Groff giving it to Duncan and Cleary. Now to Harvey. Inside the 22. Reid. Oh, back up from McKenzie. 8 metres out from the try line. Now it's gone through Booth. Groff holding it up. McKenzie's up the middle, back to Samet. He's in. Dean Samet in off a Michael McKenzie, off a Ian McKenzie pass. And Norths lead by 4 points to 2.
Yes, and just reward for Dean Salmon. I think he's been one of North's best so far, and it's Ian McKenzie for the second or third time in the match taking an inside pass. We're fairly used to seeing him run wide and taking the long passes out amongst the three quarters. I think teams have probably wised up to that, so North, sensibly enough, a couple of times have switched it back inside to McKenzie, who's been rampaging to say the least, and we'll see it again here. Groff finds him on the inside, gets around that tackle, finds Samet and support as ever. Samet over the line for the first try of the match.
Been a while since he's been to a hairdresser too, I think. Well, that might just be the style, is it? This curly business.
Might have been in the hot seat, I think.
So Harvey shouldn't have missed this one. He missed what would be a sitter for him earlier. And South just can't get out of their own territory, Andrew, can they? They just can't get down the other end to put pressure on Norths.
No, well, I think it was exemplified when Selman did so well before, made 50 metres in 2 tackles, having taken a reasonably difficult high ball, got to the halfway after all that good work, and all of a sudden coughed up possession. So they're not going to get anywhere unless they can hold on to the ball for decent lengths of time. And they've looked reasonable in attack when they have.
No mistake this time from Harvey. Norths lead South by 6 points to 2. There's 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Good crowd at Davies Park here today, Alan. It's the first time we've been here the competition this year, because of course Souths haven't been up amongst the leaders, but the Souths public have responded fairly well, I guess, all on it. But a difficult ball is running at pace. The Souths get the opportunity.
Souths get the opportunity because North knocked it on first, and Robertson has got it back to Aitken, and he's lost the football. No try.
Well, doesn't that tell the story of South's first half? Anytime they've done something promising, someone's dropped the ball. Robinson, I think, has been their best player. He set this up, the inside pass to Kenny Spruster, and with a little bit of attention from Pat Cleary, the ball going loose just over the try line. So that would have made it 6-all, and going into half-time, just what South needed. It's not what's happened. It's still 6-2 to the Devils.
The 14th time they've dropped the ball in the first half. Souths, Norths have dropped it on 9 occasions.
Well, Jeff Naylor doesn't get very upset at half times in my recollection of listening to him last year, but if he ever had cause to, it might be today.
So Herman.
Jamaican down in back play for Souths.
Duncan. Floats once to Kelso. Now, can he find Cramry in the right spot? He found Cramry, but South found him at the same time. And there's a head-eye tackle and 5 minutes in the bin from Mick Selman. So it's all happened right on half-time.
Yes, well, beautifully read by Danny Cramry there. Here's Kelso. We said earlier he's been in good form. Brownlee can't get to him. Cramry, by this stage, has got to the inside, beautifully positioned, and has shown Mick Selman, caught Mick Selman on the wrong foot. Therefore, Selman's had to throw something out. It's been an arm, it's copped him high, and it'll probably cost Souths 2 points. He's got 5 minutes in the bin, and I think Floyd Hill's a bit lucky. We see Jim Aitken looking as if he may have done something to an elbow or an arm or a shoulder. Take your pick, but he's not happy. Floyd Hill, when North looked to take a quick tap from that penalty, Floyd Hill picked the ball up and ran away a few yards to prevent them doing it. I thought he might have copped 5 as well, but Ian Irwin maybe missed it. A very doer-looking Greg Oliphant, but beneath those dark glasses, I'm sure he's hoping that they can get this 2 points, give them the lead of a converted try at half-time.
Yeah, South will have to, it's Chris White. Of course, he's playing with Manly next season. And a good buy for the Manly club too. They've had a bit of news during the week, but I think one of the better things for Manly is the signing of Chris White. I think he'll go well. And that's in. Sneaks in. That's half-time, and North lead South by 8 points to 2. So second half underway with Guy Harvey booting it straight down to Michael McCabe. He gives it back to Sprouster. And it would have been very interesting to see what both coaches had to say about the amount of spilt possession in the first 40 minutes. And to find out what did happen in the dressing room, he's right.
Well, Jeff Naylor was certainly talking about that spilt possession. He was saying how important the ball control is to them in this next 40 minutes, Souths that is. After that ball control situation, he wants them to get it wide. He says that they're hitting on the fringes of the ruck just far too often and not giving Johnston and Robertson the opportunities that he would like them to get. On the other hand, Greg Oliphant wants Herman and Reid to hit up the centre yet again in this second 40 minutes of play. And he was talking about playing this 40 with a lot of passion. Ollie was in there berating the players that they don't have the love for the game that they should have. He says, what do you think I'm coaching for? The money? Certainly not. He's here for the love of the game, and he wants them to play with passion in this 40 minutes.
Good on you, Ollie. Well said.
Well, I've seen a lot of teams play with a lot of determination. I haven't seen a team play with passion yet, but we'll see what happens in the last 40 minutes.
Jeff Naylor, I think, made a very valid point. Robinson's looked dangerous for South and hasn't seen enough of the ball, and I think if they do get the ball wide to him and Johnson, that South could prove a few problems out wide for North. And there's Gordon Reid doing as coach Greg Oliphant told him, not dropping the ball but taking it up. And Reid made a few mistakes in that first half, but did try hard, took it up a fair bit. But nevertheless, it's not much good if you drop the ball, but they've got the penalty out of it. So Michael Booth, the kick for touch, should put them back in an attacking position.
Finds it 9 metres inside South territory. Well, I would have thought one of the things South would want to do at the start of the second half is to get into North territory. They played the entire... And there's another spilled ball. And there's... as I was saying, the first 40 minutes, all they did was just keep defending their own 22 and their own try line. I would have thought that hold it for 6, boot it downfield, and for the first 5 to 10 minutes, just try and consolidate in North territory. Samet. Cleary. Nicely tackled by Sprouster, who got out of the scrum and cover. Mackenzie got his hands back free, back to Samet. Reid. Lollipop job back to Samet. Out to Groff. Tackled by Robertson. Cramery. Just short of the quarter. Samet now. Booth inside to Kelso. At the 22 now. On the final tackle. Wharton. Booth. Back to Duncan. Trying to get the ball up. Intercepted by Pat Benatar. So South's... It's Aitken has made some sort of a recovery from when we saw him before half-time with a crook elbow.
It's another ball gone to ground from South, and they want to be holding on to it because you've got to recall that they've only got 12 men at the moment. Mick Selman's still in the sin bin. It won't be long before he's back on, but if North do get possession in the South half in the next couple of minutes, well, they could do something with it, having the one man extra.
So Rockley put in a kick through, but Wharton was in perfect cover and just floated in front of Harvey. The option was right. Execution just a fraction off.
Yes, I think Neil Wharton knew as soon as he'd thrown the pass that it wasn't spot on. He'll throw his head back. It's just out of camera shot, but difficult one for Harvey to take.
Now McCabe giving it to Hill. Oh, but they're not running onto the ball. If anyone can spark something, it's the man number 2, Floyd Hill, but he's had a very quiet first half. Johnson's got the pass back to Hill. Inside it goes to Sprouster, to Banai. Has he got the pace? Did he get it down? Has he got it down? Yes, he has. Up to try. So Souths are back on the ball game. North's lead 8 points to 6.
Well, on cue, Floyd Hill, you suggested, might be the man to make the difference. Here he is doubling around now, gets the pass on the outside from Brett Johnson, through the pass nicely and picked up beautifully by Floyd Hill. Finds on the inside Kenny Spruster, draws Neil Wharton, who's covering, and Pat Benatar, we haven't seen him with much room in front of him, but he can scoot once he gets it. Look for a moment as we see the pass here from Floyd Hill on the inside. There's Spruster in the pass inside, and that's when Benatar takes off and over the line. One wonders if he gets it down, but seems to have, yep, no problem to try.
So that'll liven things up. Sprouster, former centre, position himself in the right spot. And Harvey just couldn't roll him over.
Yes, he had both wingers coming at him, Benatar, Cramery and Guy Harvey, and they weren't able to make any impact at all. So I would think with Floyd Hill and he on the wings, South really do want to get it wide and give them some space.
Minton makes no mistake, so it's 8 points apiece and the 6 minutes gone second half. Looks like he might have just hurt his ankle. Sprouster picking this ball up at the back. Aitken. The Sammets looks like he's off.
Simon Sarah comes on in 16 for Norths.
So that'll be a blow to the system. Of course, Sammet is playing very strongly. Here's Tarditi now. Minton stabs for touch. And it goes dead in goal. So Simon Sarah wearing 16. So North 10 metres outside their own 22. Duncan for Herman.
Story on Dean Sammett, a dislocated shoulder.
Mackenzie. Yes, well, Oliphant wouldn't be happy with that coming into the finals only a few weeks away. Now, Wharton gives it to Groff, who's gone to 5'8". Sarah, you'll find, will go into the scrum. He plays lock and reserve grade. So he goes to lock, Groff goes to 5'8". So I suppose when you look at it that way, I suppose they haven't lost much in the 5'8 spot, Andrew.
No, well, they're very fortunate that Groff's there, but Sammett and his combination in the halves with Wharton has been largely responsible for North's position in the ladder this year, and if he is out for the next 3 or 4 weeks, he'll be sorely missed, even if Craig Groff does replace him in the 5'8 position.
Duncan creating a bit here. Now Harvey putting it up. Floyd Hill's in position. Oops. Was in position. He's got it. He's got a bit of room to move, but that was quickly cut down. There's the South player on the deck, just slowly getting up to his feet. Chris White, he's okay. Does he look all right to you, Rod?
Yeah, he's copped the knock in there. I didn't quite see it, but he seems to be okay. Mind you, he's been going a little high on occasions, Chris White. Maybe that was a get square.
So South inside their own 22. Hill to get it out of there. Now, if it bounces right, this will be a gem. It does. That's a huge kick from Floyd Hill. 10 metres outside his own quarter to 10 metres outside North's 22. And all players appear to be back on their feet. I wonder what words of wisdom are being translated there. Wharton giving it to Groff. Dummings. Wrapped up by McCabe. Sarah. Forward pass picked up by Ian Irwin. So that was just a fundamental.
And a lot of those today, a lot of borderline ones. There haven't been all that many penalised, but that one was, and really they shouldn't be close enough to even be doubtful. That's, as you say, a fundamental, and that shouldn't be a problem for North, and it obviously is.
Selman coming in the back line, trying to create a bit of havoc. Rockley. Crowd calling for that a bit high from Evans. And now they'll get the penalty. Evans should have just got out of there. A little bit of undisciplined football, couple of basic errors, and next minute South can hit the front. Doesn't take much. Now, he could have got pinged for that tackle. He was a bit lucky to get away with it. And then he should have cut his losses and got the heck out of there. So now he gives Minton a chance to put South in the lead. So 2 silly errors, 1 a forward pass when in possession, 1 lack of discipline, and you can be behind on the scoreboard. Doesn't take much, does it?
No, that's what it's about, being able to maintain your discipline. If you've got the skills as well and the discipline, you're not going to lose too many matches. And North's probably not one of their better performances in either of those areas, skills or discipline today. They seem to have slipped a little, and obviously they weren't at their peak last week against Brothers, drawing 8-all. They've looked aside to me this year, very capable of winning the premiership, but 4 weeks to go to the finals. I guess they've got to start to really bring it all together and make sure they're at their peak come semi-final time, and I guess that's the job Greg Oliphant has ahead of him.
And this is the job that Greg Minton has ahead of him. 27 metres out, 10 metres to the side of the uprights, 8-all the scoreline. Hits it pretty well. Straight through the middle. South's lead by 10 points to 8. 19 minutes gone, second half. So Harvey. Well, it went to Michael McCabe. Didn't want to run the ball back. Took him half an hour to find Ken Sprouster. They lost about a second and about 10 metres. Now here's White.
Chris White carrying some scars on that face now.
Tarditi. Brownlee putting the boot to it. Now Cleary. Minton waits for him. Gets him by the jersey.
And puts the knee on the head as well.
Give him a bit of ruffle up. Harvey. Reed. And driving defence coming about from Sprouster and White. Now Duncan for Booth. Mackenzie, and they've got the, they had the overlap. Mackenzie decided to go on his own. Should have let it go then. Wharton at the halfway. Duncan. It's come off Brownlee and gone into touch. So it's come off a South's player. So North should have the feed.
Often these sorts of situations where Darryl Duncan comes into his own and does something quite brilliant to turn a game around, and that's what North will be looking for at this stage.
Wharton, Groff, Booth, Cleary in the backline move looks a bit sharp here. Cleary's dropped it on the first tackle. So much for me opening my mouth saying how sharp they look. Kelso spotting a bit of claret from the right ear.
Been a lot of drop ball today, as we've referred to, but bear in mind that a lot of the hits have been pretty hard too. That one wasn't exactly marshmallow stuff. Mind you, A-grade players should hold on to it, but the defence has been pretty solid most times.
Well, Cleary making up for his mistake with a half break. Now Sarah. Reed. Kelso, a dummy half, on his own. Duncan, back to Evans. Centre field on the final tackle. Wharton, is it a chip? Yes, but it's taken by Mark Rockland. And
Souths make a change. Peter Nocon on in 16. Brett Johnston comes off.
Tardidi got it back to Brownlee. So Nocon with the ball now. Minton's gone to 5'8" by the look of it. Nocon going to halfback, which is his normal position. And so South employing the kicking tactics, and if North just keep coughing up possession down here, South get a chance to put pressure on. But I've seen today both teams having trouble. This Peter Nocon, pretty sharp sort of a player. Both teams having trouble today holding the football. As Andrew mentioned earlier, maybe we're not giving enough credit to the defence. Wharton feeds. Went straight through the tunnel. 23 minutes gone, second half. Souths lead 10-8. Groff. Tackled by Robertson. Sarah. Herman. Had a strong game today, Steve Herman. Reid. Now Wharton. Inside to Duncan. The backups from Evans. On the last tackle. Now Groff. Puts it high. Pat Benatar's underneath. And he's come up with the ball. Robertson. Philip Tardidi. He must be starting to feel a bit tired. Playing in reserve grade and then coming on early in this match. Now White. Now Minton and Nocon combining, and it's Aitken. Last tackle. Minton to get rid of it. And it finds touch. Good kick.
Well, he's played well, Greg Minton, apart from the fact that he's kicked a few crucial goals to give South at this stage a 2-point lead. His kicking in general play, and his play around the base of the scrum's been quite tight too, so Minton can be well satisfied with what he's done.
So Danny Cramry running it away from the scrum, coming in from the wing. Sarah. Not quite at the 22-metre mark yet. Now Reid is. So gets over the advantage line. Herman. Now Duncan. 5 short of the halfway. The tank plays it to Groff and now Booth. Now Floyd Hill is one-on-one here, and he's beaten Cramry.
That's a poor chase from Norths.
You can't give the ball to Floyd Hill, give him 20 metres to move in a one-on-one situation. He'll beat you 9 times out of 10. You're right, Mr. T. There was only one chaser. Tardidi flicking it out the back. Rockley tidying up. Minton. Now White. And it goes to Selman. He's tackled by Groff and Kelso. Minton again. Long pass, which went backward to Sprouster, went back about 15 metres. And now the kicking will be on again from Minton. Cranberry's having trouble dropping back, but it goes to Hill. And that will probably go dead. It does. So play to come back from the quarters, kicked it too far.
But it's still keeping Norths down in their own half, and while they're there, they can't score, and 2 points behind. It's not going to do them much good. They need to get out of that area. South's doing a good job applying the pressure.
What a contrast, though, Andrew. The first half was played in, most of it played in South's territory, and the second half the complete reverse. The kicking game has been employed by the Magpies. Groff getting it to Herman. Reed. Back to Cleary. Works hard for his team, Gordon Reed.
He sure does. He hasn't stopped all day. As we said, he's made a few mistakes, but you could never question the size of his heart. He goes and goes.
Better stuff from the Norths forwards. They hit the line 3 times then and gain ground every time.
Booth lost it. Brownlee will come up with it. Tarditi. Hasn't played the ball correctly.
I think he's a pretty sore and tired boy at the moment, Tarditi. I tell you what, Naylor's got to consider him for first grade.
Yes, he's played well. I think he might be just about had enough. Might be a replacement for him.
Rich O'Hill, the number 19 for Souths, on the line.
And in the meantime, Guy Harvey's lining up a shot at goal. There's Richo.
Rallied the reserve grade side very well in the second half of the reserve grade game here today, did Rich O'Hill. Now gets his opportunity replacing Philip Tarditi.
Not well enough. I think North's got away with the reserve grade 18-16.
Yeah, but they had a big lead at half time.
Tarditi's gone to the sideline. He looks as though he may have injured a shoulder. He might be more fatigued. Now Guy Harvey's 40 metres out, dead in front. South's lead 10-8.
Rich O'Hill, of course, is a sort of fellow like Darryl Duncan who can turn a game on one little bit of brilliance, and probably not a bad ploy of Naylor's bringing him on at this stage. So it may come down to who does their thing. Is it Duncan or is it Hill? But at the moment, it's up to Harvey.
Hits it, hooks it, no goal. Souths remain in front, 10-8. Ten minutes remaining in the match. Souths lead by 10 points to 8. Selman drops out. High ball for Cleary. Oh, and he's made a meal of it. Well,
once
another
again,
mistake.
Well, everything's just about even. 42 errors in the game, 21 apiece. South's up 10-8, but bad mistake by Cleary, although they've got the penalty. Had plenty of time to take that and should take the side-on stance, waiting for the ball. If he drops it, then chances are it will go sideways. If you're facing it, you make a mistake, there's only one way it can go. That's forward. That's what happened. It was a knock-on. North, luckily enough, got out of it, and they're now back in South's territory with a chance to attack.
I tell you, someone who's got that side-on business down to fine arts, Gary Belcher. Andrew did it successfully in the test against New Zealand. And you're right, if it's going to be dropped, there's that little bit of brilliance from the tank. Oh, and it's gone over Evans' head. Well, Duncan, we're only talking about one of these players has to turn it on. There was Duncan, and the pass went over Evans' shoulder, so South get out of jail.
I'll tell you one thing, every time Daryl Duncan does make a break, the bloke most likely to be on his inside or outside, one way or the other, quite near him, is that Troy Evans. He's got a lot of pace, and he realises Duncan has that ability, and he feeds off it very well.
So Richo Hill plays it on the 22-metre line for Mark Rockley now. Driving defence from the Devils, although the pass went back to Hill. That's Floyd Hill, so the two brothers on the park. White. Ten metres outside the quarter. Minton. Dummies. Now there's a bit of room and the kick's on. Cleary's right this time. Chase is coming from Sprouster, and he got him.
Played very well, Sprouster, made a lot of tackles and really kept South going forward at a lot of times when they've looked as if they may struggle.
So Cramry now tackled by McKay. Kelso. Now Wharton for Herman. 10 metres short of the halfway. Gorf inside to Reed. Hill came over the top and smothered the football. Underneath was Aitken. Now Wharton for Booth. Cleary. That's the halfway mark. That's a changeover. So Brownlee plays it. And away goes Jimmy Aitken. 7 minutes remaining. South's lead 10-8. White. He's got the pass. Oh, away to Aitken, but Ian Irwin ruled it was forward.
Yes, correct ruling. The tackle was affected right on the 10-metre line, and Aitken took it in front of that, so Irwin right on the spot.
So what the Norths put on here? Not a lot, but Harvey did well to pick it up. Couldn't get around Pat Benatar. Now Mackenzie. Reed. Struggles to the halfway. Herman. Good run of 8 metres. Now Wharton. He's got Duncan there. Ball gone loose and into touch.
Yeah, touch by White. Touch by White.
So it's come off a South's player. North's ball.
Yes, it was Floyd Hill who reefed it away from Daryl Duncan. So North, one of their final opportunities to attack.
Right, so it's North's ball with Groff. Turning it inside to Cramry's tackle by Sprouster. Wharton for Groff. Cleary.
Michael McKay at the South, well, original 5'8", when the team was picked, hasn't stopped tackling all day as he goes in to make his second in a row. He's really been a bonus for them defensively.
Troy Evans takes it within a metre of the quarter. Now Booth, back to Reed, over to Herman, tackles Sprouster, but it's gone back to Booth. Now Mackenzie, underneath is McLeod. Wharton, it's up, it's high, it's on the try line. Selman's knocked it on.
He's regathered.
So North's now in the dying last 4 minutes of the match. The loose head and feed.
Thought South might have been a bit lucky to get away with not being penalised for offside here. Let's see who touches that ball. Certainly the fullback. Perhaps the South man in front of him dived on it. Ian Irwin didn't think so.
Who's down there, Mr. T, can you see?
I think it's Neil Wharton.
You can't see him standing anywhere there. And there you could see it's number 7. So Selman dropping it, then regathering it.
I think Wharton might have copped Selman's elbow as he went up for the ball as Selman tried to take that high ball. Wharton was thereabouts and perhaps got the point of Selman's arm, not on purpose, just aiming to get the ball.
Well, this break's going to help Souths because Norths have been doing plenty of attacking. They've got a chance to get their second wind here, the Magpies, because you'd bet they'll come up with the football. And we're in the last 4 minutes of the game. So Wharton and Selman go back to their respective positions. Now we're looking at a vital stage here. Souths lead 10 points to 8, 4 minutes remaining. North's ball. In it goes. Out it comes. And Wharton's lost it. It's gone forward. Some of the crowd not agreeing, but it's certainly propelled towards the opponent's try line, and that's a knock on. Doesn't matter which way he was facing. So Minton. Safety here now for the Magpies. Aiken. So 10 points to 8 in the dying minutes as it goes to Richo Hill. And as we go to Richo, we also go to Rod Tiley.
OK, thanks, Alan. On the sideline, Dean Sammett, who went off just a few minutes ago. We were told a dislocated shoulder, mate. What, is that the story?
No, that's not the story at all. I just hurt my shoulder. The AC joint about 3 weeks ago. And it's just had a hard tackle out before and thought it was safer to come off.
So you won't miss any?
No, no doubt.
Can they get back into it, North?
I think so. We've got 3 or 4 minutes now, and if we hold the middle and start using our backs, we should be able to get back in there, I think.
Thanks, mate.
Penalty to Souths. Well, it's good news for North. Dean Zammett and Greg Oliphant.
Troy Evans' lack of discipline wasn't good news. As a second tackler, he just tried to reef the ball away from the Souths player. That's a pretty ordinary kick.
He's kicked it backwards.
But at least it's gone out. The bottom line is it's gone out and they still have the ball. But Troy Evans right in front of Ian Irwin. That's a bad mistake.
He's kicked it 10 metres behind him. What an effort. So Souths at least have the ball with White.
Bit like one of your golf shots, Alan.
Now Hill. Brownlee at dummy half for Sprouster. Tackle by Sarah. Now Richo Hill. Going to ground, 8 metres short of the halfway. Getting very slowly to play the ball. Brownlee from dummy half making good yardage. Now they're on the final tackle. And we're in about the last 60 seconds of the game. Minton to kick. Into the hands of Guy Harvey. And he's tackled by Peter Nocon. Now Wharton gives it to Cleary. They're calling to spin it. Kelso coming inside. I don't think that's what Michael Booth intended. But the South's backs got up quickly. Now Wharton over to Cleary. Cramery kicks ahead. Floyd Hill gets it. Runs to the halfway. And he's tackled by Mackenzie. White.
Shut down, the call coming from Jeff Naylor. He just wants them to take 6 and the 2 points are theirs.
Oh, with the semi-finals looming, Greg Oliphant's got a bit to do with this team, Andrew.
Yes, they just seem to have lost concentration at vital times, and their attack, particularly in the second half, has never really bothered South. So I think, again, the fact that they didn't hold the ball for 6 tackles a lot of the time was a reason for that, but that's perhaps one of the crucial things that Oliphant will be working on, ball retention and control. As the field goal attempt by Michael Selman goes well wide, Norths have one last chance.
Cleary got a cross field. Can they score after the hooter? Danny Cramery. There's a million coming in support. Booth trying to keep it alive. Can't do so. That's the ball game. Full time, and South defeat Norths by 10 points to 8.
have to do is, you know, thanks Winfield, and then you know, talk about that second 40 minutes if you like.
Closer in, Rod?
Yep. Sprouster. Okay.
All right to go.
You're just on Ken?
No, 2 shots.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Yep, right to go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
The man of the match performance this afternoon came from South's lock forward Kenny Sprouster. Ken, great effort out there. You had to come from behind to win it.
Yeah, thank you, mate. It was a tough effort, but we just built behind 6-2 at half time, and Jeff said just control the ball in the early tackles, and which we did, and we come up the goods. So pretty happy, and just have to keep winning, and hopefully the other side start losing, and we might be sneaking the semis, mate.
That was pretty much a grand final performance from South today. Had you have lost, pretty well all chance of a semi shot gone.
Oh yeah, mate. From now on, it's grand final stuff for us. So even last week it was against Valleys, but that's the name of the game. Just keep winning and hope for the best. So.
Must feel good to nail 2 of the top sides 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, mate. We should have nailed them last round, and just been consistent all year. But we've just been beaten by the 1 try or 1 goal. So. Been consistent, so we're starting to come up with the tries and started believing in ourselves, so keep going.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. All right, so I'd like to thank you, Winfield, for the Man in the Match award. No worries.
Good stuff, mate. Well done.
Thank you.